Why hello there, my fellow hungry duplicants. Rhadamant here. Thank you for tuning in to Oxygen Not Included Aquatic. Episode 14, an aquarium for fish fillets. Ventilation tiles. So this ventilation tile, I might actually streamline this so it's cleaner. The gas pump that pumps oxygen to the top dock will pump it down to the bottom too. There's no need to reinvent that wheel. So, actually, we don't even need to deconstruct that. I think about it. That doesn't help me at all. All we need to do is to snip it and build an alternative path. So we're going to need to refine some zinc for the extra docks. And then on top of that, we are going to need to go using the top dock to get the thimble reeds, or specifically the reed fibers that are here, so that we can continue to build suits. So I want to do it in such a way that I don't make a giant wet mess of everything. So I'm going to come up above the water line and then drop a ladder down to get the thimble, to get the reeds that are down here. And yeah, there's reeds over there as well. If I can, I don't really want to start farming thimble reeds. Certainly there's a lot of polluted water around. I could, but I don't feel like the invested amount of effort to farm that would really pay off. So that's why I'm hesitant. And congrats, Snarf. Good name for a janitor. All right. And let's give you a skill. So the first skill I'm actually going to give you is basic swimming, so you just don't drown. And then eventually you're going to get, like, carrying stuff. The other thing we're going to need to make sure to do is, there really shouldn't be an alternative path to circumvent the atmosuit dock. No one would climb down this way. Like, that's not possible. Dupes can't drop like that. But I'm going to build a ceiling on it anyway. But probably a ceiling that incorporates some airflow tiles here so that we're not building up another carbon pool. Something like that. Alright, another thing is we don't have... So the current wire grid here isn't enough power to support this. So as part of this task, I'm going to set up another 1 kilowatt transformer and run that line, now this is where it gets messy, and at some point I'll address the mess. But run that line down. And what I'll likely do is break this here, so that this line powers everything down here. Meaning these suit docks will be powered with the carbon skimmer and the irrigation pump for our flue coral. So that's how I'll do it. I'll snip here and here once that's built. the other thing is on the exosuit forge. We'll queue up 3 more atmosuits. And I'll track reed fibers. Oh, am I already? Yeah, we have 2 reed fibers. So I'll be able to get 1 suit immediately. And then this here will yield me suit number 2, suit number 3, and then 3 reed fibers plus 5. So 7 reed fibers, and then I'm assuming even more further east. Oh, there's even some up here too. So 9 and then some. Icefire, thank you for the resub. Oh, you are. Yeah, I don't know why I built that there. That is bright as hell. Sorry, bud. That is a far better spot there. And I'll just put a tile there, and that should be just fine. Oops. Too high. Yeah. Some dupes have a fear of the dark, but not Snarf. Snarf was like, oh god, please, stop. My eyeballs. Just making sure there isn't any new sequines near the clams. There doesn't seem to be. Cool. Well, progress is going. So we just need this run of cable, the transformer, and the floor below it. And then we'll be able to change the wiring around and plug everything in. We should also start supplying the other 2 docks with oxygen as well. I'm surprised we... Oh, someone has a skill. Valka has a skill. I'm gonna have pretty much everyone go towards exosuit wearing once they're done with most of their immediate, like, passionate skill tree. Just because we're going to be wearing a lot of exosuits, so it makes sense to make sure everyone's decent at that. And there's the first suit. Oh, perfect. And this is about... Yep, okay. There, we're all set. So, we're snipping here and here. I can actually just break this cable down. Break that down. And there we go. So if we take a look, this is potential load 725. This is potential load 585. And neither will brown out as a result. And now the southern docks are getting both power and oxygen. And we might have a little bit of a breathability issue temporarily as we pump out a lot of oxygen set for the suit docks. Oh, and yes, you My dupes can't fly, so we're going to need a ladder up here. Obviously. For the last suit. But I like it. It's a pretty sensible suit dock. It's effective. It works. And the power grid, is spaghetti janky as it is good enough. Anyway, that also works. I had mentioned last stream, and I never really got around to it, putting in another battery. But I think we're just out of zinc. We're always out of zinc. So given enough time, the gas pump for the suit dock supply will do exactly what it needs to and be able to provide all the lovely gas for that that dock. And here, Major Mildew's already using it. He does not swim very quickly or travel very quickly in a suit dock, but you know, an attempt was made. All right, new printable. Fertilizer, I guess. Didn't care for anything else. So after I'm finished with that last suit, what next do you want me to do? We're just banging out these goals quickly. So the last suit is just waiting for me to supply the last suit, the suit dock. At some point we might want to go up to 4, but I think 3, like 3/5 of our dupes have suit access is fine. And as our population increases, we want to address that. So, feel free to vote on next project. I'll give you 5 minutes, although it probably won't take 5. Oh, apparently I had the reed fibers. I had more reed fibers than I realized, so we have the last suit coming out now. I do want to stock up on extra thimble reeds. I wouldn't mind getting swimsuits for everyone, or swimwear rather, for everyone. Speaking of which, we have rubber boots for Snarf. Because getting swimwear to protect from sopping wet is going to be a bit of a benefit. Plus, there's some insulation thickness once worn as well. Now, Rayvac has a totally different clothing set on. Rayvac's wearing snazzy clothing instead. But, you know, we could, there we go. Sweet. We could get swimwear, a few more units of swimwear with the reed fibers up here. Do I have any tips for avoiding burnout? Honestly, I don't. To put it extremely bluntly, I play Oxygen Not Included because my community votes for me to play it. So, whether I feel burnout or not, I'm going to be playing regardless. So it's not a problem I have myself because I don't choose whether I play. So don't leave it up to you. I mean, honestly, my advice is going to be really unhelpful, but is essentially, if you feel burned out on a game, just stop playing. Like, games are supposed to be fun, so if you feel burned out playing it, then the game's not fun enough to warrant playing? I mean, that seems obvious, but, like, maybe it's useful for me to actually mention that, you know, I've seen way too many people play, like, games like League of Legends and just get eaten alive by the toxicity, forgetting that, yo, first and foremost, the game should be fun. If it ain't fun, you're doing it wrong. I'm sure I'm preaching to the choir, but seriously. So, obviously, this is the Gravitas facility that we found. There. If and when we want to go up there. And yes, Getting access to the ore hall does potentially give us access to harvestable iron. Because there's multiple ore halls here. Wow. Apparently the Gravitas facility is full of farts. Yep. Alright, I'm going to enable auto harvest on the thimbleweeds that are like naturally occurring, because I feel very lazy and do not want to farm them myself. I will just passively benefit from the wild ones. It is a very long distance, but I think ultimately that is fine. It's not something we're going to do often enough where I feel like it's an issue. Alright, the bottom dock is about half ox supplied. Where is that swimmer? Oh, there you are. Wow, I have 14 units of reed fiber. Okay, yep, swimwear for everybody. I might even switch Rayvac out of what he's wearing. Because I super have the ability to. Don't see much of an issue. And overwhelmingly, you guys want me to set up ranching for better food. Okay, so quickly talking about ranching. Ranching is very easy in Aquatic Planet Pack because beacons are super easy to keep happy and produce a lot of food for almost no input, to be blunt. So, what I mean by that is, one starnacle produces enough phosphorite to feed, like, 8 beacons or so? Let's actually do the math. So, per cycle, a starnacle makes 20 phosphorite. And per cycle, a beacon eats 10. No, I was wrong. So it's 2-to-1 ratio. Or 13 growth per cycle for beacon. No, actually, it's... So, if I'm going to be ranching, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a large... So this was a very small ranch for, if I'm going to ranch beacons, I don't necessarily want flue coral, and the reason for that is flue coral, despite the fact that it's our oxygen generator, I want to separate food from oxygen so that I can have separate levers to pull. Because if I add a bunch of flue coral, well, I could always turn off irrigation, but if I add a bunch of flue coral to the ranch, then I need the ranch going to produce oxygen, which I might not always want, so I don't want them tied together, if that makes sense. Plus, it's not like I have a lot of pearl right now. I have enough for like 3 growing, but I'm going to be using a lot of that for the starnacles. So thinking about physically where to place it. Using gravity... I would like to just like fill my, if I could fill it, my beacon ranch with just like salt water that I steal from gravity, that would be great. And I wouldn't want to steal it anywhere where there is naturally occurring flue coral generating oxygen, because like I might at some point want that oxygen. I could do it near the kitchen. The reason why I'm not too concerned about proximity is it is very easy to get solid transport. And probably something I'm going to want to do. Because at some point, swimming around to collect fish fillets regularly gets very annoying. And would be best if we didn't have to do so much fetching. So I'm actually going to start researching solid transport. So maybe what I'll do is this. I'm going to build it here. Even though that might not be the most ideal location. Like, I acknowledge that and also don't care that much. So, the other thing to note is the density. So a beacon fry is confined when the pool is smaller than 8 cells and crowded when it has less than 8 cells of space for each critter. So 8 cells per critter. And then if we take a look at the stable, a max tile size of 96. So if we want to, you know, if we want to set it up, obviously we're not going to have any more than like 12 beacons per ranch, or they get unhappy. And the reason why we want to keep them happy isn't for their illumination effect. It's because when they're happy, they reproduce quicker, right? We want to keep them happy so that they are laying eggs, because if they're not laying eggs, then it's it's inefficient, in other words. So, what I would like to do, here's 95 tiles right there. What I would like to do is to set it up so that we can have potentially more than one of these ranches, if need be. So I think it's going to look something like this, where we like build a pneumatic door like that, where we can drop in. I mean, maybe not even a pneumatic door. Let me shrink it a little bit. I haven't come up with like a blueprint in my head for this. So this right now is 90 tiles, and it can be 6 more tiles before it hits like maximum size. The other thing is, we're probably going to want some animal control stuff. We don't necessarily need to shear, because beacons don't get sheared, but we might want eventually to get creature comforts to have them reproduce quicker. And then any excess eggs can just become omelets as another source of food. And Kath, thank you for the resub. And the reason I'm having it higher is we can still put a bathroom in here. There's enough room for a washroom below. So it's not interfering with that. So I could have it be something like this. This is 90 plus 9, so that's 99. So something a little smaller. That would be not... Whoops. Different tile. That would be 96. And the reason why I'm like... I got everything with airflow tiles is it won't pocket any gas. And we fill this with water. Drop a ladder in there. And this is just where we keep the beacons and starnacles. Now, the starnacles, I believe, are plants. I don't think they count as animals. They're flora, not fauna. I hope. Or I'm going to have to recalculate how much space they need. Now, the only issue with this design is I can't have it scale up above. So what I could do is, if I ever wanted another one, to just have it mirrored on the other side, where we have like another one here. There. Because this is what, 18 by 5. Yeah, I could fit another one on the other side. It's not perfect, but it'll do. And then I'll probably want to reroute power around it, so it's not just like super weird. Because I get it's pretty weird right now. Yeah, so this will be the first iteration. I'm going to keep it kind of simple, and then we can improve upon the design as time goes on. But what this design doesn't have is an easy way for gravity-fed seawater. So I'm also going to want to I guess what I want to think about is where do I even want to feed it seawater? I could pump it from here, but I want that submerged at some point, I bet. I don't really want to pump it from down here, unless I, like, isolate one of these sections and then pump all that water out. Because ultimately, our irrigation for our oxygen is coming from here. It's not the lowest point, but it's kind of important that we don't mess with this tank. I could pump this out. What was this, what is this? Hot polluted oxygen? Yeah, I'm never going to need that, so I don't care about that. All of this water here I could pump out from, I guess. Because this is not serving any real purpose. Oh, what is this? Carbon dioxide? Yeah, not going to need that either. It's a good question. Where do we want to source the water? I think I'm going to source the water from over here. It's a long way, but the benefit is that this is a pool of, like, that I just will never care about. It also has sequines, and it's at the edge of my exploration zone. And I'm sure there's better solutions. It's just the one I'm going to go with. Avalka, you aren't going to be able to get out of there. Here, let me build this ladder with Coquina so that you can actually exit this thing. Alright, look in the... Good, these suit docks are nearly full of oxygen. It's been a minute. And now we have smart storage. Now, I'm not going to initially set it up with any smart storage benefits. But yeah, I'll still get solid transport. Because maybe we improve it at some point to include that kind of stuff. Oh, hydrate right after I drink. Good timing. Cheers. Okay, Avalka, you can't get out. I saw that coming, which is why I changed it over to Coquina, but she, like, made no attempt to actually build the ladder for her escape. But it was pretty easy for me to create a quick fix. So the auto sweeper, if you're wondering, sucks up everything within its light green radius, which is to say that we could sweep up any beacon eggs. We could sweep up any fish fillet, any excess phosphorite, anything like that, and keep the tank clean without dupe intervention. It's one of the reasons why you would want solid transport and smart storage. Now, it costs power and generates heat, so it's not a cure-all because it does create its own issues, subset of issues. But it's something we could consider. Just wanted her on downtime? Yeah. Be stuck in an empty tank. And I definitely went overboard with the airflow tiles, but it's right above the carbon skimmer, so I really didn't want this to become a big wall for carbon dioxide to get stuck. Well, I don't think we haven't started ranching yet, so I can't say that I have the food infrastructure to accommodate another dupe. So I'm not gonna consider printing one up just yet. So once the structure of the tank is set up, where it is watertight and ready to take on liquid, I'll set up the required plumbing. And it's gonna be spaghetti jank. But that's fine. At what point does overpressure happen to the toilets? So right now, this tank is got a lot of volume left. So I'll switch the water filtration around. We have this tank here with, where does it even say? With 3,700 kilograms of water, ready to feed the plumbing system. The other issue is because of the directionality of the okay, let me snip this. I should have had a bridge here. So did we end up with germy? No, nothing's germy somehow. Should be. No one's been washing their hands, but apparently it didn't really germify anything. Let me fix that for future reference. So the water supply here should look something like that, where it can only add it needed directionality. It's easy to fix, at least. And now our water filtration system is ready to take out more polluted water. Perfect. Okay, solid transport's done. And I'll start researching towards creature comforts. The aquatic critter condo, I don't believe... What is the materials that go into it? Plastics? Yeah, I don't have the plastics for that. So I'm actually going to hold off on that and not even bother until I have plastics. I'd rather have Rayvac productive somewhere else. Nice. Now RCV has suit training. Our cake howls are lower. They're down to about 38. We're certainly nowhere near where I would consider critical. But it's definitely something to keep an eye on while we ramp up the ranch. Having added Devon, or rather Snarf, we're going to need to make sure that we're providing enough food for everyone. Also, Rayvac, now that he doesn't have research tasks, is making the swimsuits so that Snarf and everyone else can be protected from sopping wet. So Major Mildew will get one, and I'm going to make 2 more. One for Snarf and one for Rayvac himself. He'll switch off of his snazzy. Oh my god. Snarf. I mean, you're trying. You're really trying to move. What are you even going for? Oh, lime. Yeah, I mean, I needed lime, so yeah, that's fine. Now, as I sort of suspected from cutting ourselves off from the free flue coral from below, we do have thinner oxygen. I knew that that was going to be a consequence, especially after having filled our suit docks, that our oxygen production was not going to keep up. We'll have pockets that we can access, like here, for instance, that if we needed to, we could tap. So for instance, I could break this wall down, just drop a beacon in there, and have this flue coral generate some for us. That might not be a bad stopgap measure to generate enough oxygen just so that we, can keep breathing. Realistically, the amount of outgassing flue coral, that's 300, 600, that should be enough. So I'm not really sure why it's not keeping up, because this should be generating... we have 5 dupes. This is generating enough for 6 dupes. No one is a deep breather or anything like that, or a, mouth breather or anything like that. There is a massive pocket of oxygen here that we could just, as long as I avoid the sand, sort of, dip into by doing that. I think that's probably the most effective bang for our buck. Is to hit this tidal spring, hit this flue coral, and unpocket this 28 kilograms per tile oxygen bubble. And hope that our ears don't explode. So I'll just do that as a stopgap, so that we're not running out of oxygen. But in the long run, we're going to want to generate more as our population goes up, and I know that much. It's not even really a distribution issue. I mean, some of it is, but I do have vertical columns everywhere that are too wide so that gas can free flow. It's more just that we pumped so many kilograms of oxygen in here that we just emptied it out, where we need it. It's ultimately not a big issue. It's not going to kill us or anything like that. It just needs to be addressed. Cool, I guess. Pip balloons. Yeah, if I thought it was super critical, I would do something bigger about it, but it really isn't. Oh, more skills. Snarf! Nice. We'll give you carrying, working towards exosuit wearing, so that you aren't running around like you're hyper asthmatic. Oh, that didn't help. I'm just going to deconstruct that entirely. The problem is I'm having freshwater come out of 2 outputs, and it's like screwing up the flow. But easy to fix, just get rid of that. I don't think I need to add any more freshwater to the system. This tank can just be our like research water, or backup water or whatever. Good enough. Thank you for watching Oxygen Not Included Aquatic, which originally streamed live on Twitch. If you have any questions for me, let me know in the comments below. I'm not, however, looking for feedback. If you'd like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhadamant.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you'd like to join my online gaming community on Discord, Rhadamant.com has a link to it, as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for watching. Special thank you to my Twitch subscribers, Patreon patrons, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. I hope to catch you next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell, my fellow duplicates.